And so I can see how social media is amplifying that. But how do you not amplify it in your own voice? What do you do?
So I was blessed with you, if you want me to be honest.
Okay, and I'll pay you later.
If I'm being honest. I am a truck driver, and I'm basically to myself all day, every day. I'm by myself. And social media, that's it, because that's how I get down the road, things like that. But when I come home and it's basically to my family, right? When you see the way a strong woman like you is so somewhat submissive to your husband, I remember that.
Now, let's stop that. I'm not submissive to my husband, okay? I care for my husband, all right? He works 14 hours a day, all right? And does a lot for the family. And in my time, at least I can cook. I work at home. I can cook. I can give him his food. I can make sure he's taken care of. But he takes care of me. I am not submissive.
But from what you told me, is basically he gives you that space to be the woman that you need to be. Yeah. And at the same time, you can do what you need to do. But it's because he gives you that relief to do it.
Right. He allows me to be good and to be what I need to be. He allows me to be a woman because he takes the role of so much of the things that, you're right. And I get it.
So, and for me, knowing you and remembering the days, like the old days with you and how it wasn't you, like to hear you I remember one day I heard you say, oh shit.
It's supposed to be about her.
I know.
Okay, she will put all my business out. But, okay, back to talk show host mode.
But really, I do remember the day. These are all things that shaped me, though. That's why it is about me. Because these shaped me. But I remember one day I heard you say, oh shoot, D coming home. Let me hurry up and make his dinner. You know, you was like, and I was like, what the fuck? This, to see that happen, it was like eye opening for me, and it was like a aha moment, like since I felt that relief, and it made me want that. It made me desire it more and more and more. So that's actually being that, like I said, I was originally a lesbian. That was actually what made me turn bisexual because it made me want that more.
Oh,
okay. For me, I don't.
And I will say one thing. I feel like social media, people finding love, like at the core of social media, I do honestly feel it's a little harder than it is at the time that we first met. Because right now you can just go to anybody's page and you could, remember we talked about it. It's like, you could just look at it. If I want to find out what you're into, what you do, I'm going to go to your page and I even hear you speak. You're talking, you're showing the most vulnerable sides and more explicit sides of yourself that you wouldn't normally show. And back at the time when my husband and I first met, if he wanted to get to talk to me or know me, he actually had to call and come over and we would sit and talk for hours until he had to go back to work or until the next day or something. But if he wanted to see me, there had to be a travel, a commitment to do that. Or remember them days like being on the phone and you fall asleep on the phone.
Fall asleep on the phone.
Right. Talking to someone, that's how you know you liked them.
Yeah.
So I understand. I do believe that social media can make it hard.
Yeah, I think that they see what they see, especially me in my live stream. They see that part and they think that's me.
We should talk about that because if you guys want to, we're going to put up how you can follow Crystalline. And what is your handle? You might as well say it now. What is your handle?
My handle on Instagram is choke me please sir. And on Bigo Live, my Bigo ID is CHOK3M3, which is choke me.
Let's talk about that. We're just not going to go over that because for years I've always wanted to know, how do you choose that choke me as a handle and still find, like, even your social media is a little bit, and it's hot. I don't follow because it's too hot for me, right? But it's hot. And how do you balance that with the concept of wanting to meet someone who is going to be looking at you as be serious relationship-wise?
So I believe that pretty much that to know me is to love me. So I should accept you for who you are. Same way you should accept me for who I am. Now, I'm not saying that every man should or whatever. That's why you have that person. You know, the reason why I chose that name, it was more like a test. It was, a lot of people thought it was some, freaked out moment or whatever. But really, I did it because of a conversation one day, and I realized one day somebody replied. Their response is what made me say, I'm going to change my name to this, because
Can we get the details just real quick? Not long. Just I mean, what did they say, and what did it trigger?
So it was really the name I had. It was something about it, and somebody was like, "You should just call yourself Choke." Right? So it was just a joke or whatever, because we were speaking on like lifestyle stuff. And
I don't know, my brain went in the wrong direction, but go ahead.
So when we were speaking on it, some dudes in the comments just came up and was like, "Oh, I'll chuck y'all," and when they said that, I was like, all the submissions in the room was like, "Whoa, ooh, no, stranger danger," that kind of thing. So then the one dom in the room, or the one person that took us serious, was more like, whoa, like he came protector mode and was like, no, like, stop, Okay. So what it did for me is it showed, like, I noticed that when I did that, I noticed a lot of people tend to go towards one mindset, but those that were in the lifestyle that I'm looking for, they tend to be more concerned.
Now, can I say this
and
to
questioning.
You? I want to share this with you on an open platform. My take on you choosing to test someone with that name. Okay. In a world, in social media, where we have a short time to define who we are and to share with people. Even in a relationship situation, the people who I truly like, I'm not going to test them. I'm not finna go looking for problems. I'm not going to test them for problems. And the reason why I'm not going to test them is because they should be comfortable to be who they are with me without feeling that I'm going to be testing them. I test is for schools. I test employees. I test other things. These are people who can be discarded. But someone I want in my life completely, I'm not going to test them or give them an opportunity to mess up. If they mess up on their own, they mess up on their own. So I kind of felt, personally, the concept of you choosing a name to test somebody, it says more about you than it's going to say about anybody you're testing. And I just want you to consider that. Okay? All right. Now, something I want to get to real quick was just the fact that, do you find yourself overextending in yourself financially too? Because I know you to be a giving person. Do you find that as a problem sometimes?
I used to.
Okay.
But you helped me with that too. So,
and what is it that you used to do and what you don't do now?
So,
why?
If I'm the person that, if a man is in need, or if anyone is in need, period, I'm quick to be like, what you need, what you want, I'm quick to help. So,
and I always ask you why. Why? Have you figured out why?
Because I have, so this comes back with the daddy issues and the narcissistic mama stuff like that.
Oh, well, we
But we ain't gonna go
no labels.
We ain't going into that stuff. But all in all, I realized I have an addiction to it.
Okay. So if you have an addiction, that means doing it triggers something for you.
Yeah.
What does it trigger?
It gives me an adrenaline rush.
So technically you're doing it for you.
Yes.
So even though so even though they think that you're helping them, you're really helping yourself because you get a chemical reaction that makes you feel what?
It genuinely makes me feel happy to help someone. So when and it gives me a relief in a way. I don't know what it is, what it does, and why it does it, but it's just this sense of relief, and which is why I get when I realize that someone is just using it and it's not being like, my number one thing I say is when they say thank you, I say just do it for somebody else. Do it for somebody else. So if they don't do it for someone else, or if I see them kind of like just taking advantage of it and acting like, oh, I played you, I'm done.
Yeah.
Could be gone.
I hear you.
So
and there's something I always like to tell people too, though. A lot of times we use this term, we hear people take my kindness for weakness.
Right.
Right?
Then it wasn't me being kind. I don't think he really was trying to be kind.
Right. And that's something I've learned is that the right people don't take kindness for weakness.
Right.
They take it as kindness.
Right.
The only people that's going to take your kindness for weakness are people who was predators from the get-go.
Right.
And so therefore, you just need to know the difference between who
Exactly.
you don't need to change giving because you're a very giving and loving person.
Right.
I don't want to change that. Just change who you give it to.
Right. And that's why I said you actually help me with that, because I would do it for anybody. Yeah. Oh my God.
Right.
I used to do it for God. Right. And I remember my apartment used to be like a shelter.
Right. I was like, who you recruiting? I was like, you should be a nonprofit and you are not fully
getting for nonprofit. I should be getting paid for this.
If you had to give one advice to someone who was in your situation, and the advice was to help them to recognize what they're doing, because you personally know recognizing what you're doing, what would you tell them?
There's a few things. One, find a genuine positive source.
Source for information, you mean?
Source to vent. To talk to for information, but a genuine positive source. Again, social media is like TV and everything. It's not all real. So find a real person in real life to balance your social media. Don't, like, although I'm driving trucks and everything, I have to look and seek outside, because I'm going to feel like, oh, this is all it is.
This is all it is.
Right. And then my other thing I would say is basically accountability. Like, just this is something that's constantly said, and everybody says accountability, but no one really does take accountability. Right. So I would say seek actual help. If you really need help, go seek help and hold yourself accountable for everything, no matter what. Even if somebody did it to you, there's always like cause and effect. So there's something that you did originally to cause that. Not saying, and it could be just as much as simple as you not listening to your first mind.
That's really good advice. That is really good advice. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and opening up and being real and raw with your truth. And I love you. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And a lot of times when we start talking out loud and we start sharing our story, I've learned that it really does help other people, because there's something about us that resonates to other people as well. So thank you for coming, and thank you guys for also being here.